𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏, one of the most popular alcoholic drinks in the world, sold in large masses and recognized as one of the best types of beer. But behind a great product there is a grand processor, an internal great process. Heineken, a large manufacturing chain around the world that will start as a small distributor in 1864 in hands of Herrera Adrian Heineken, and will become one of the most powerful brewing industry that involves engineering and science to provide the world with this product. Since 2015, Heineken owns more than 165 breweries in more than 70 countries and has about 66,000 employees. Within its factory is 𝗕𝗏𝒂𝒃𝒃𝒃 𝗏𝒂𝒃 located in Monterrey, Mexico, which we talk on the task of traveling to learn more about the brewing process.
Before we went to Heineken, we knew a few things about the industry. In this case, Heineken is recognized for its production of beer. To elaborate it, is necessary to have some ingredients which are malt, hops, yeast, and water, and if we let a beer exposed to the sunlight, it could be waste. We also knew that Heineken has a different brands related to the industry, such as OXXO and FEMSA. Now we are going to explain in a better way the process that Heineken used to elaborate a beer.
To make beer, it's necessary to apply science. Every machine has a specific mechanism and a part of the process that they are meant to do. It is necessary to control the grain, the time, the chemistry and the substances, the movement, and especially the temperature. There are at least 12 machines involved just in the beer production, and they have temperatures from 100 to -1 degree Celsius. Some of the machines act as a blender, and depending on the purpose, the velocity changes. In some others, part of the substance is just kept still, so the fermentation can occur correctly. During packaging, there are much more machines that identify broken bottles through a quick laser scan, or put the cap on the bottle, or just another that can gather them in a box. All those processes mentioned are very important to control all those variables so the beer can have the quality that it's supposed to have.
The process to elaborate beer in Heineken is very complex. First of all, they have big cells that contain cereal grains called malt that are submerged in water so that they can start to germinate. This part of the process lasts 120 minutes, and it should be done all of this at a temperature between 55 and 100 degrees Celsius. Then we have the step called mash tun. In this process, the cereal is ground and mixed with water at a temperature of 50 to 76 degrees Celsius for 120 minutes. Then we have the latterthon, which is when all of the sugar of the grain is extracted and we obtain a sweet must. This process lasts 120 minutes at a temperature of 76 degrees Celsius. Then we have a step called the brew kettle, which is when the must is boiled with the objective to eliminate bacteria that may appear during the process. This step lasts 60 minutes and should be done at a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius. Also, in this part of the process, the hops are being added, and these help us to determine the aroma and bitterness of the substances.
The next step to follow is when the must is passed to a whirlpool where it will be for about 30 minutes until a yeast is formed. Then the mixture is cooled at 10 degrees Celsius by means of movements inside tanks made of metal tubes and plates. The solid particles that are produced during the boiling are looked for. After being boiled, the cooled must passes to the fermentation tank. Fermentation is a process by which the yeast converts sugar to alcohol and CO2. Depending on the type of beer, it can last from 7 to more than 20 days. When the fermentation process is done, it is transported to a lagering tank in a temperature of -1 degree Celsius. The yeast is removed and carbonated gas is added. The reposing period is of 7 to 30 days. Then, the product is filtrated to eliminate the solid wastes it may have and verified by a quality control process. Finally, the beer is bottled and packaged in the bright beer tanks.
Beer is still as exciting as it has always been. It comprises engineering, physics, and chemistry in the process. Let's talk about physics. The motor brewer must be a mechanic to know all about the structure of a complicated motor plant, the working of pumps, boilers, engines, ice machines, etc. He or she must be an engineer and understand all about combustion, fuel consumption, coal production, efficient drainage, and proper ventilation. In brewing, there are several changes in temperature. The heat is transferred by the conduction and convection in the process. The cooking of the malt is the part of the process in which the greatest amount of energy is used when we talk about elaborating beer. It is therefore important to design a system that is as efficient as possible while minimizing losses of heat to the environment. The secret to a good beer? Pressure. When it comes to beer, it's all about carbonation. Pressure is physics too.
Physics has helped shape the industries in making work easier. This by applying the principles of physics such as the conservation laws, Newton's laws, laws of classical mechanics, laws of gravitation and relativity, laws of thermodynamics, among others. In this, many industries are coming up new technology that is an improvement of the present. The automobile, construction, power, manufacture, and many other industries will continue coming up with new models that are efficient and effective. Some examples of industry groups relevant to physics are diagnostic equipment manufacturing, newspaper, magazine publishers, nuclear power plants, physical science and development services.